everyone! So last week I posted a video called Trash Talking New Makeup Launches that I was just not interested in. So I thought I would flip it and this time talk about some launches that I'm actually excited about, because there are some things that are coming out or have already been launched that I think is unique and exciting, and I figured I'd show them some love. The first item that I'm going to talk about is a palette by Sugarpill that has already launched. It just came out a few days ago, I think, or maybe a week ago now. And I've already picked it up because I'm so excited for it. I'm just waiting for it to show up at my doorstep, and it is the Sugarpill Fun Size Palette. I realize that there are a lot of rainbow palettes coming out on the market lately, and I'm really not tired of them. I've been a lover of rainbows for a very long time, and I'm still excited to see rainbow palettes, so you will hear me mentioning them quite a bit. What I find interesting about this palette is not only are the colors very vibrant, and I think they might actually be neon, or some of them at least. That green is definitely a neon color. But the shadows are also a little bit different too. The shade called Continue is really weird. Like, for a rainbow palette that basically has all the shades, that's a very bizarre yellow color. That's like a dirty mustard color, and I'm curious how it's gonna work with the rest of the colors in this palette, but I'm definitely eager to give it a shot. So I'm not only sold from the color perspective because I think they're beautiful, but I'm also really sold from the packaging perspective as well. I love the little 8-bit icon emoji-esque cat on the front. That is so freaking cute. I mean, cat anything and I'm basically sold. But I also really like that the shade names are built around gaming culture. I mean, it's really neat to see like Cheat Code or Level Up or Rage Quit. Oh man, back in my World of Warcraft days. Not me, but seeing other raiders rage quit. Yeah, that was always fun. Game Over, High Score, Continue. Like, they're just such cute names bundled into this really adorable packaging with rainbow colors. Like, I am all for this palette. And I also like too that the shadows are actually a little bit smaller than Sugarpill normally puts out. Their pans are typically absolutely massive, and there's no way anybody's gonna get through those. Like, there's only one of those that I've actually hit pan on, and it's because I used it as a face powder when I was being Mystique for Halloween one year. It's a blue powder. So the size of those regular eyeshadow pans that they make is just really unnecessary to me. I'd rather have smaller sized items so I've got more of a variety of color. So this palette has me super excited, and I can't wait for it to show up. The next one is another rainbow palette. I really can't get enough. I don't know what it is. I know a rainbow palette is not especially curated because it's just the rainbow, but I am loving seeing all the different tones of rainbow colors, so I'm excited. So this is the Violet Voss, is it called their Vibes palette? I was gonna say electric, but that's not it. It's the Vibes palette, and it comes in cardboard packaging, which I really love. Violet Voss, I think, always releases cardboard packaging, and it's always compact too. Like, it's always really slim, it's sleek, and I just really like how they put their palettes together. So this Vibes palette, I mean, it's basically just a really bright, not neon, I don't think these are neon shadows, rainbow palette. And I probably have these shades time and time again in different palettes. But oh man, I want this one, and I'm not holding back. I've already ordered it. In fact, I just ordered it yesterday, now that I think about it. The Sephora sale probably will have ended by the time that you see this video, but I was absolutely gonna buy this palette for 15% off. So I snagged that as soon as the VIB portion opened up during the sale. I also really like that this palette is all matte shadows. I do tend to prefer mattes over shimmers. I think together shimmers and mattes make a beautiful eye look, but if I am drawn to an eyeshadow, it's almost always matte, and I think it's just because the color is more impressive to me that way. A shimmer doesn't tend to be as vibrant as a matte color is, and I think it's just because the shimmer has more reflective qualities, so it never really like slaps me in the face with the color, so to speak. You'll have to tell me how you're feeling about rainbow palettes. Like, are you sick of seeing them all the time? I'm just so excited, frankly, because for so long everything was so neutral and finding colorful shadows was an issue. I'm not talking like the last 5 years, I'm talking like 10, 15 years ago. So I don't think I'm ever gonna get tired of them. I'm just so excited to see them. They make me so happy. So the next one that I just saw previewed last night, and this one kind of took me by surprise. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette, but Norvina collection palette. And I think it actually says volume 1 on the front of the palette. So clearly there's more coming. I am curious about this palette. I was really impressed when I saw the color story of the palette because it's quite vibrant. There's a lot of purple, but there's also a lot of like neon reds and oranges. I don't necessarily know if they're neon shades, they're just really brightly colored. And I was like, okay, this is more of what I expected from the original Norvina palette by ABH, because that palette launched and I was like, oh, you're kind of boring. Like, yeah, you're pretty in essence, but I don't feel like there was anything particularly special about that palette, nor did I feel like it had enough purple colors, since apparently purple is Norvina's favorite color. This palette, however, this one is definitely more enticing and way more up my alley. I'm just surprised about how many colors are in this palette. There's 25 shadows. That's massive. And more recently, I've started to fall more in love with more condensed palettes. I like them if they're kind of 12 and under at this point, and sometimes even if they're 6, I think they're fun to play with. So this thing looks really, really large, and I'm wondering how I'd feel about it once I got my hands on it. I do really like those bright orange, maybe there's a red shade in there too. I like those matte purples as well. The shimmers aren't necessarily interesting me that much, but I do like that bright yellow and the more dirty mustard color. So I don't know if I'm gonna pick this one up. I'm still kind of on the fence about it. Oh, I just saw the price tag. It's gonna be 60 US. That's gonna be like 75 or 80 Canadian. Ooh, I would definitely, if I'm gonna pick that up, I will definitely wait for the November sale. I'm not gonna just buy that one outright. That's a hefty bugger. All right, next is one from Too Faced, and I know I just poo-pooed all over them during my trash talking video, but I am intrigued by this little baby palette. So this is the Hot Buttered Rum palette, and it's that 8-pan mini tin packaging that they've started to put out. There's like a mini sweet peach one, which I really, really like. I took that on a road trip with me, and I just really adored playing with that palette. They did have the sugar cookie one as well, which they launched for holidays last year. I didn't love that one as much because I didn't feel like the shadows were as good quality as the mini peach one, but I still use it from time to time, and I do really like how small they are. They're like this big. It's really cute. They're a bite-sized palette. So this Hot Buttered Rum one is predominantly a neutral palette, but I'm interested in it, and I think it's because my experience with these mini palettes has been, for the most part, positive, and I do enjoy their small, compact size. And I do occasionally wear neutrals, and this is the kind of neutral color story that I'm really drawn towards. I like that it's got that kind of, it's not a yellow really, it's more of a mustardy shade. I would use that through the crease for sure. I really like that look recently. And then the brown tones in here are also up my alley. I like that warmer brown beside the yellow color. That's something that looks really good in my crease, I think. And I do like the shimmery color above it because it's kind of like a toffee color, and the other shimmery color on the bottom row is more of a silvery patina type color, which is another shade I really enjoy. So I do think I'll pick up that Hot Buttered Rum mini palette whenever it launches. I don't think it's coming out till September, and it might only be a TooFaced.com exclusive, but I hope not. I really hope I can pick that up at Sephora. That's pretty much it from Too Faced though. They launched a whole bunch of other holiday sneak peeks, and I was like, nope, not interested. But that Hot Buttered Rum one, I want that one. The next item I'm going to talk about really just surprised me. So this is by Makeup Obsession. It's called the London Calling palette, and I think Makeup Obsession is part of Makeup Revolution or Revolution Beauty. I'm not positive, but that brand has so many sub-brands and I can't keep track of them, and I think I heard somebody say in a beauty news video that was a sub-brand, but please correct me if I'm wrong. So this London Calling palette is very intriguing. I'm very drawn to that bottom row with that, again, that weird dark mustard shade. I'm seeing it in a lot of palettes, and I'm really into it. So that's called Hyde Park. And then the shade beside is like a deep matte green. It's called Underground. That's gorgeous. I like Regal, which is a deeper navy blue beside it as well. I really like those kinds of deep matte colors. They're so much fun to put on the outer corner of my eye, and they really work well with like a bright lid color. So I really like those. Corgi, I just noticed one of them is called Corgi. That's funny. Royalty looks like a shimmery red, which I'm always into, and then Kensington I think is like a matte red on the top row. The only thing with this is I don't really know where to buy it. I'm sure I could get it on their own website, but I'd rather just pick it up somewhere locally, and I don't think that's really possible in Canada. I might be able to find it at Ulta, but this is probably like a limited edition item. Man, I keep looking at that bottom row of colors and I'm really into them. It's kind of got that fall aesthetic. It's just a little bit deeper, but matte colors. Kind of reminds me of leaves, but also reminds me of the way the air smells in the fall time. It's just kind of got that aesthetic to me. It's just kind of like an autumn day wrapped up into an eyeshadow palette. I'm really into it. And it's funny, I'm not usually drawn to much by Makeup Revolution. I find a lot of their palettes are just copycats from other stuff that's been out on the market before, so I don't usually find myself interested. But this is something actually unique. I don't think I've seen this color scheme in another palette before, so I want this thing. It's very pretty. All right, and the very last item I'm going to talk about is something that I'm glad has become a permanent product because I do really like it. I won't be picking them up because I already own them, but I think they're worth investing in if you like the shades. And these are the new Benefit highlighters. So they put out those cheek leader palettes, the trios that are like small cardboard packaging. That's not a box because I don't love the box thing. They put out the cheek leaders a few months ago and I love those things to pieces. They are such good palettes. They have blushes in them. One of them has a bronzer, but they both have a highlighter, which was a highlighter that Benefit had never put out on the market before. And most people rightfully guess that of course they're gonna relaunch these highlighters as permanent products. And now they've done it, and I'm glad they have because those colors are so pretty. Cookie is a really reflective, I want to call it like a sugar cookie color. Like it's not too one color or the other. It's a little bit silvery, it's a little bit champagne. It looks beautiful on the cheeks and it's very reflective. It's a gorgeous color, but Tickle is really interesting. When I put that on my cheeks, it has a little bit of a lavender cast to it, but it's also peachy pink. It's so unique. I don't own anything like it, and it is actually visible on the cheeks. My friend Julie noticed the Tickle highlighter on my cheeks one day when I was wearing it, and she couldn't figure out what color I was wearing because in some lights it had a lavender shift to it and other times it looked peachy pink. So I think it's really unique and really special, and I'm really glad that they've made it part of their permanent collection. I just don't like the box thing. I'm so glad that I have them in those cheek leader palettes because they're small and compact and they're not bulky like those Benefit blush boxes are. So I'm glad I have it in that format. But if you didn't pick them up in the cheek leader palettes, you have to basically buy it as the box thing, which, I mean, I get it. The box blush, bronzer, highlighter thing is very much part of Benefit's aesthetic and they've been doing it for a very long time, but I just don't like how bulky that stuff ends up being, especially because I always toss the brush that it comes with. That thing is usually trash. But anyway, I'm very happy that they've made these highlighters permanent because they're glorious. They're so, so pretty on the cheekbones. All right, that's gonna be it for this video. That is a few of the items that are out on the market or going to be out on the market soon that I'm excited about. Not everything is crap out there. There are quite a few things that I'm not interested in, but those ones that I mentioned in this video are definitely ones that I may be picking up in the future. Well, I've already bought 2 of them, but you know what I mean. Let me know about anything that you're excited about on the market lately. There's a lot of things coming out with holidays, and I'm sure there's going to be a ton more soon. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Bye!